Hi folks, welcome back to the Carpro detailing channel. My name is Andrew. Now question, do you struggle getting your exhaust tips both on the outside and the inside clean and shiny, looking like new again? You've done a fantastic job on the paintwork and the wheels. You may have even popped inside and given it an interior valet, but you struggle or you forget to do the exhaust tips. Well, in this video, I'm going to show my technique, which is super simple and a perfect marriage of products that have enabled me to get even the most dirty exhaust tip looking like new again. So you've already seen on the thumbnail the two main products we're going to be looking at today is going to be Labocosmetica's Kronos and also Carpro's Metallicut. Now these two products, in my opinion, are a marriage made in heaven. But before we actually start looking at these products, the order we use them and the results that they're going to give you, we're of course going to wash the vehicle. So I've already washed my Audi TT and I've washed the actual exhaust pipes as well. So I've removed all that dirt from the outside. I've used a wheel brush on the actual inside of the exhaust. I'm quite lucky. I've already looked through. There's nothing I can damage in there, so I probably went in about 6 inches, okay, to give them as good a clean as I can. Now, traditionally, when I was doing my exhaust tips, I used to go straight to a metal polish. I'd clean the exhaust tips like we've already done on the Audi TT, and then I'd go to a metal polish. And I've had reasonable amount of success, but it was always the bit in the middle and those baked on bits of sort of carbon that I could never get rid of. So I thought one day I'll pop along to Clean and Shining, which is my local detailing store. And I went in and I asked the helpful staff there what I could use, and all of them went straight for this, Kronos. Now, Kronos is a decarbonizer, so you're going to be using this before you actually start to polish up your exhaust tips. And the purpose of this, once you've washed it, is to attack or eat away, dissolve all the heavy bits of carbon buildup, primarily on the inside of your exhaust tips, but if you've got any on the outside as well, and it's super easy to use. Once you've done that, it's got rid of all that carbon, you should have an enhanced degree of success using your metal polish. So this one's going to be tricky to film. I'm going to reposition the camera and I'm going to show you how you use this. Okay, so like all Labocosmetica products, it comes beautifully presented. This is a 250 milliliter bottle. Now, when you do open it, it's got one of these child-proof caps on it. A lot does come down the side. It is quite messy because I'm not sure what's going on, but even if you put it on dry, when you come to actually remove the cap, it must get captured in there and it starts leaking down the side, so just be careful of that. Now, the tool I'm going to be using is in a toothbrush. Now, I've seen some people put the toothbrush in, start using it, but as soon as that gets sort of carbon deposits on it, you're then putting it back in there and you're actually polluting the nice clean Kronos. So all I'm going to do is put a little amount, and you'll see you don't need very much, in here. All right, so that means that dirty brush is never going back in the Kronos as well. Okay, so looking at our exhaust tips, there's a bit of sort of carbon on the outside, but there's quite a lot in the inside. So the main focus is this is going to be on the inside. So all I'm going to do is saturate my toothbrush and get the product all over the exhaust tip on the inside so it can start doing its work. We'll do it on the outside as well. Like I say, you don't need much at all. Bit of agitation with the toothbrush, but the main purpose at the moment is just to get the product, the chemical, all over the actual surface of the exhaust. Now, I'm trying this with a toothbrush initially. Arguably, you could use it with some wire wool, but initially, I'm just going to let the chemical do the work. Now, I'm now just going to leave this for a minute or two to do its thing, and we'll come back and rinse it off. Okay, so that's it left about 2 minutes. Now, what the instructions say is that you're then just going to rinse it down. So you can wet a cloth and do this, but you see all that dirt, the dirty water coming off. Get your cloth in there, just remove the now diluted product. Now you can now see, hopefully, that the majority of the carbon on the outside has gone. However, there is a tiny track there, which is what you normally get, because that's where it all settles in exhaust. So all the carbon on the outside done. The sidewalls are looking pretty good, but we've just got that area there. So all you do is you're giving it another hit. Now, if you've got really bad ones, just keep going, okay? But the majority of that's done, so I'm going to give that bottom bit another hit, and I'm going to agitate it with a bit of wire wool this time. Okay, so that's been left about 2 minutes. Same again. I'm gonna get some water all over the exhaust tip. Now, when you're doing this, you'll see me now, I'm wearing silly safety goggles. I'm definitely protecting my eyes, especially using a toothbrush. When you remove the toothbrush, you don't want it spraying in your eyes. You could even use a face mask, and of course, goggles, because I don't know whether it's an acid-based. I could do a pH test actually, whether it's heavy solvent, which clearly it is, or it's got an acidic content. So wear your PP and look after yourself, which is good. Okay, let's see if it took out that track of carbon that we were having an issue with. So just zoom in, you can see that track of carbon is now all gone, and the inside and the outside is quite good. Now, there is a bit in a sort of cut in that actually is an indent where the actual exhaust tip curls round, and there's a lot caught in there, so I might have to, if I was really vigilant, go in it there as well. But I'm really happy with that heavily contaminated sort of bottom bit, it all coming off. Now, the chemical did most of the work. Yes, we use a tiny bit of wire wool just to basically take the top crust off and expose the chemical to more. You might have to do that, and of course, if you've got really contaminated exhaust tips, you may have to give it 2 or 3 hits, but let the chemical do the work, because it clearly works. So I'm really happy with that. Okay, so that's phase 1 done. Labocosmetica's Kronos doing a good job. Now, clearly my exhaust tips aren't really bad, but like I said in the demonstration, you may need to apply 2 or 3 hits, but let the chemical do the work. If you do need to agitate it with some wire wool, and just to give it a fighting chance, constantly exposing the next layer of carbon, just keep working your way through it. So we are on to the sort of titillation stage, the actual enhancement of the actual exhaust tips. Now, when it comes to using Metallica, there are various techniques you can use depending on your own personal preference and how much polishing indeed needs to be done. Now, the posh way of doing it, I suppose, is if you've got one of these, which is the PXE80 mini polisher by Flex, and also the Flexi shaft. You can actually put one of these quite coarse polishers on that really gets into the actual exhaust itself. You can use one of them. I've seen people use actual polishing pads. This is quite a coarse one, not an actual machine, just using it to bend around the exhaust and use the actual abrasiveness of the pad to apply that polishing action. You can, of course, use wire wool. But what I'm going to do is, because I'm conscious that not everyone's got all this kit, I'm just going to use one of these, and this is a dedicated metal microfiber, so it's slightly coarser than a microfiber you would use for removing waxes and all that kind of stuff. And then, again, I will leave a link in the video description. Okay, so we're on to Carpro Metallica. All right, so as always, give it a good shake. It does have quite a pungent chemical smell. It's a white liquid, so use this as in a ventilated area. I've got the garage door open at the moment, and we're going to do the inside first, and then we're going to go round on the outside. So I'm just applying a few spots just to get good coverage. Now, it's quite messy, and always start off with the least abrasive method first. So I'm going to start off with microfiber, and then if I'm not happy with the results, I can then go to wire wool and scale it up like that. And I'm doing this quickly. You can spend as much time as you want on the inside. And keep doing that. And my method on the outside is just to go round. And I've already taken some before shots, so I'll show you them in a minute. Go around the underside. Now it can get quite complicated when you've got limited access, but get as much product actually on the exhaust tip as you can. And then this, luckily I can get this microfiber right in and then give it a really, you can be quite firm with this, really work that polish in and generate that friction. So that's the technique I use for limited access areas. What massive difference already. And then on the underside where I have more access, I can just go underneath it and just work away. So So all done, huge improvement. I'm going to show you some before and after shots shortly, but I'm really happy. So I cannot recommend these two as a marriage made in heaven, a good pairing. Now, the only thing that I now do, and I'll do this off camera, is to apply a wax just to offer some protection. I'm using an alloy wheel wax. I show a picture of it now. And the only reason why I do that is to psychologically offer some protection. And a alloy wheel wax is usually a bit more robust and more resistant to temperatures, etc. So I've got no sort of data as to whether it stops it from carbonizing and all that kind of stuff. It's just something I do. So have you seen the wax that I use? So I'm going to leave a description to all the products I've used, so the wax and indeed Kronos and Metallica as well. Give it a go, see how you get on, and as ever I invite a conversation. What do you use? Have you got any top tips for cleaning exhausts, etc.? And we'll all get involved in that conversation. And so until next time, thanks very much.